was that, bro? Oh my Jesus Christ. Literally every single time. No. No. Oh. Alright guys, so I just beat the hardcore marathon and it was very painful. If you are considering doing this achievement as well, my number one tip would be don't. I would recommend reading a book, learning a new skill. Guys, at the end of the day, these gaming achievements are low-key a big waste of time. It's not super difficult, like we're not talking like Crypt of the Necrodancer or anything. But I'd say it's similar to the difficulty level of Super Meat Boy, for example, if you're familiar with that. I actually got the Bird's Legacy achievement back in January 2020, but I subsequently gave up on the hardcore marathon, partially because nobody at the time had the achievement on PlayStation, so I figured that was for a reason. Fast forward to September 2024, and I see that 10 absolute nut jobs actually went through and got the platinum trophy. And not only that, I was the only person on the Bird's Legacy list who hadn't completed the hardcore marathon. So I decided to put everything else on the backlog so I could just lock in and complete it by the end of this month. And yeah, it took me about 20 hours of playtime after coming back to clear it, which put me at about 70 hours total to get the platinum. So I'm going to go through each level and explain my strategy / route to beat each level, as well as give my personal opinion on the difficulties of each level. If you don't want to hear me talk through each level and you just want to reference the raw gameplay, click the first link in the description to see the raw uncut run with no overlay or face cam. It's public on my channel. If you're interested in seeing the full run with my reaction and you want to see me hyperventilate at sorry, then click the second link in the description. Alright guys, that's enough yapping, time to get to the levels. Alright, so this is the only level that I'm gonna rate a 0 out of 10. My only tip for this is to do some 360s in the air to spice things up. For this level, all I do is the initial swing and then 2 swings inside of the tunnel. So as you can see, I swing into the tunnel, grab the top left, swing, grab the top right, and then you fly right into the goal. Again, swing, grab the top left, swing, go to the right and grab the top right to avoid the meatballs, and I swung a little high but I still made it. Lastly, I'm going to show myself swinging for a third time. You do not have to do this unless you think you're going to die. So there's like a million ways to do this level. I'm going to show you how I did it in my clear. Basically, I just turn left, grab this pizza slice, and swing all the way to the second to last burger, and then just swing right to the end. Again, turn left and grab the pizza slice, then use that to swing all the way to the second to last burger, and then from there I am going to try to swing not as high this time to swing right into the goal. Second way you could do this level is by again grabbing the pizza slice and then swinging all the way to the highest burger and then using that to swing to the last burger, and then from that burger you can swing right to the end. You can go as high as you want and you'll pretty much never die. Another reason why this level is so easy is because if for some reason you miss the goal at the end, you can just use the french fries to swing right into the goal. So here I miss it, and then I just grab the french fry and I survive. So this level is also pretty easy. What I do is I swing off of this initial orb, and then I swing over to the last meatball, and then from that last meatball I'm going to swing high over the first half of the pizza slices, and then I grab this one slice after going a little bit left, and then I always go right to the goal. Again, swing off the first orb, then swing off of the meatball over the first half of the pizza slices, go a little bit left, then grab this exact pizza slice and swing to the end. If you miss it like this, then you can just grab the orb and go in. So one more time, you grab the meatball over the first half and grab the pizza slice and swing to the end. This time I went a little bit high. I am never eating meatballs again. This is easily the level I died on the most in the entire run. I feel that if you can beat this level consistently, then you can easily beat the majority of the levels in the Crimson Court. So what I try to do is I try to swing off this first orb long and then get one swing at the end of this tunnel, launch myself off of this meatball, and then get one swing at the end of this tunnel. I don't care what anybody tells me, I swear these meatballs are randomized. I've gotten hit by so many meatballs that I'm like, dude, that meatball should not have been there. But yeah, here's me doing it again. Here's a third run. Again, swing long, swing off the end, launch yourself off of this meatball, and then swing again. Lastly, I'm going to show myself swinging multiple times in the tunnels. To keep yourself up, a good strategy is to basically like spam the top. Like what I'm about to do here, I went a little high and I just spam the top and it keeps me up. This level also sucks. Like it's an easy level in theory, but whenever I play it, like I make the tiniest deviation in my swing and I just go flying somewhere completely different. So my goal is to do 3 swings total. I swing off the initial orb, then I swing off of the second orb, and then I swing off of the middle left disc to the end. Again, swing off the initial orb, swing off the second orb, and then swing off the middle left disc. Now try not to go too high on the second swing. Here's what could happen. If you try to swing off after going high, you might hit one of the top blocks. My advice would be that if you feel like you swung too high, do not try to swing off the middle left disc, just swing off of whatever you think is safer. And lastly, if you swing a little too low, make sure to stay to the left side so that you miss this block coming across. Now for me personally, once I passed memory access, it was basically a guaranteed run to Tunnel 3. All of the levels in between memory access and Tunnel 3 I find to be very easy. So yeah, starting with Spears 2, you should never die at this level. Just don't even look around, just swing directly straight, holding forward the whole time, and then as soon as you get to the bar, just swing up, and that's it. Again, no need to get fancy, just hold forward the whole time, swing to the bar, and as soon as your crosshair aligns with the bar, swing up. And here's a clip of me trying to do way too much, like looking all around, and then I get too close to the bar and I hit the structure. This level is very easy for many reasons. Firstly, I mean the level itself is just very simple, but then also you basically have like unlimited attempts to try to reach the goal. So yeah, just swing off of the first orb, and then like it doesn't even matter like if you try to like leave a bunch of slack in the swing, like you're gonna make it regardless if you swing fast enough. Here's a clip of me missing the goal multiple times, but as I said earlier, you have unlimited attempts because you can just fall right back down and try again. Look at that, I missed it a second time. And again, just fall right back down and try again. Boxings is another very easy level. There's a skip where you could fly over the right wall and just skip the whole level, but I feel like this level is just so easy that it's not even worth it. We're still not doing it the legit way though. Just fall and then fly over the left, and then at the last second grab this orb, and then make sure you get enough momentum to swing from this orb to the end. Really the only way you're going to be dying on this level is if you don't get enough momentum on that last swing. There's an additional orb at the end that you can hit if you really want to, but it will usually not make a difference. It really only matters if you get a good swing. And lastly, here's a clip of me getting a really bad swing to show you what that looks like. I would consider Pillartower to be the easiest level besides Swing. Ever since I learned the strat to do this, I never died on this level once. Just turn left and grab this corner of the machine, swing up, and then turn around and swing off of it again into the goal. Let's just say that you're feeling sloppy and you do this first swing, but then for the second swing you grab the top of the machine. Well, it doesn't even matter because you're still going to make it. Now let's say that you're in a rush and you just grab it and then you don't even swing that high, you just turn around quickly and then you try to get enough momentum to get to the top. Well, you're still going to make it. The only rule is don't grab too far away or else you'll hit the floor. Alright, so this is another one of the easiest levels in the entire run. All you have to do is hold onto the rocket until you reach the arcade machine facing forward and let go. Then you can swing on the green bar and make it into the goal every single time. Another important thing to note is that when you're swinging through the hole, make sure that you're very slightly to the right because the pink windmill is going left to right, so if you're too far to the left, you're going to get hit. But yeah, I'm going to show myself doing this a few extra times. Honestly guys, I could probably do this like 100 times in a row, it's that easy. I found spiraling away to be pretty difficult when I first started attempting this run, but the more I played it, the more I got consistent at it, and I got to a point where I don't think I died at it a single time the whole last like 10 hours. It's really easy, just swing on this orb and just go right in. As you can see, I'm swinging around to the right and then slowing down near the goal and using pure air control to go into the goal where I won't hit the structure. With practice, you'll get this every single time. Now, Tunnel 3 is a level that you need to practice. This is going to be the deciding level that determines whether or not most of your runs are going to be far into the Crimson Court, because a lot of the levels at the start of the Crimson Court are easy, so if you can consistently beat Tunnel 3, then a lot of your runs are going to be very good. For me personally, a Tunnel 3 clear meant that I was basically guaranteed to get to at least Thorns. Towards the end of my run, I was likely to get to as far as like Julblock and further, due to, again, like all of the beginning and middle levels being a lot easier than the end of the Crimson Court. So this is kind of like a border level where if you pass this, you're probably going to get a decent run. Alright, so there's going to be the initial swing and then 3 swings in the tunnel. So you do this initial swing and then you swing off of the pink cylinder over the green cylinder, off the keyboard, and then swing off of this last monitor. You need to make sure that you do not swing too low on this first swing or else you hit the floor. You can afford to go a little higher off of this pink cylinder because of the way it turns gives you a little bit of extra space on the top as it's spinning. A lot of this level's difficulty comes from the fact that if you slightly alter your swing pattern, then you'll be completely thrown off. So a lot of this level comes down to being able to adapt. If you somehow mess it up, then just grab on whatever you think is going to keep you alive. Here's a run where I purposely mess up this first swing and then kind of show you how I like have to kind of freestyle it. I just grab on whatever's going to keep me up in the air. Now the first Crimson Court level, the missing link, is pretty easy. All you have to do is grab onto this leftmost blue link and then do a big swing upwards and let go as soon as you pass that rock coming down, and you should have enough momentum to go right to the goal. Again, grabbing that leftmost link, passing that rock, letting go, and then going right to the end. Now you can lose this level on occasion if you do not go high enough, and so you need to rely on the link that's right above the goal. So in this run, I'm going to purposely try and not go high enough. Okay, well I still go a little high, but you can still use this link up here to try to get into the goal if you miss it. Alright, so this time I'm not going to go high enough. So I let go early before I passed the rock, and then I just used the link to swing in. Collapse is one of the easiest levels in the Crimson Court, but that does not mean you can't die on this level. I actually did twice. Specifically because it's a little tricky to grab this last orb, especially on controller. This orb right here. I learned after dying in a run to this level that I really need to line it up before coming down. But again, this level is really straightforward. Swing off that orb, swing over, and then line this up so that you can grab it. You can see here I almost miss it. And then you just swing right into the goal. One more time. So again, if you don't miss this last orb, you really should never die on this level. I'm giving Kingdom a 4 on difficulty instead of a 2 or a 3 simply because it is just so easy to mess up this first part. And I really don't understand it because like I could go on like a run of doing this level like 100 times in a row, and then just randomly I'll lose to this level like 10 times in a row during marathon runs because I just somehow hit one of the antlers. So all I do is let go of the rocket early, swing off of this antler, and then once you get to this part where you're just like swinging off of the skull, it's literally free. Again, you let go early so that you can go left and swing off of this, and then swing off of this skull to the goal. Now in this next run, I'm going to purposely mess it up, and then I'm going to show you how overpowered this skull thing on the top is, because you can literally completely lose your momentum and just use the skull by itself to swing all the way to the goal. So here I'm just going to swing back and forth until I can get into the goal. So if you think about it, this is kind of like an alternate way of doing the level, but I'd never use this method. Follow this method and you can do sticks in a hole pretty much every single time. What you want to do is grab this initial orb while holding forward and to the right. You need to be holding forward and to the right. And then when you're swinging, look up on the wall and just grab the tip of the first bar that comes out and make sure you swing far enough. Do not let go of your initial swing prior to attempting to grab the bar, because if you let go of your initial swing too early and you try to grab it as you're falling, you will die. Also, once again, make sure that you swing far enough off the bar into the goal because it's very common to not swing far enough. This time I'm going to let go of my initial swing and then grab it, and I'm cooked. So yeah, don't do that. Now this level is really annoying. When I first started attempting the run, my clear rate of this level was in the toilet. Like, I was only clearing it maybe half the time. And it's really, really simple. All you have to do is build up enough swing to swing straight to the goal. And the thing is, like, even if you are still consistently getting bad swings, I would still not recommend doing it the normal way, as I feel like you're just as likely to die doing it the normal route. For me personally, my clear rate was even worse on the normal route. Remember, when you go for the swing, that speed is extremely important. So make sure you really exaggerate your swing so that you get as much speed as possible. Like, obviously you still need the height, but height is a lot more forgiving than the speed. And don't waste a lot of time building up for like a really good swing. You could do it on your third swing, just go for it. Just swing, swing, and then go for it on the third. The problem I had was that when I would try for going back and forth over and over again and try to get really high to go for a really good swing, I would just end up messing up. Now that you beat Thorns, you have a break of 2 very easy levels before you get into the hard stuff. All you have to do is swing off of these 2 spears and then come around and use air control to go into the goal. It's very easy. Make sure you grab the tops of the spears so that you don't hit the ground. And yeah, you have so much air control at the end there that you're basically like floating midair like the Roadrunner. I did die at this level 1 time, and that's simply because I forgot to grab the top of one of the spears and I ended up hitting the ground. Another very easy level here, just let go of the rocket early and then go around the right side of the structure, or you go left, but I usually go right, and then grab the orb at the end and go right to the goal. Just make sure that you do not hold onto the rocket too long and go into the black hole. Like, there is a lot of leniency with letting go too early. As you can see, I'm letting go pretty early and I'm still making it. Just absolutely do not hold for too long. Also, if it wasn't already obvious, you should be holding forward the whole time. So you're within the last 10 levels of the run now, so it's time to lock in. I think that the depths is pretty easy, but it's also pretty easy to mess up. So I think that there are two tricky swings to watch out for. This first swing and the last swing are pretty easy to mess up. But this last swing, make sure you do not hit the two sides. Make sure that you are centered. So again, watch out for this first swing, stop. Make sure that you do not swing too low on that first swing. These should be pretty easy, just going around, and make sure that you're centered. Do not hit those two sides. Most of my deaths on this level came from that last swing, not centering myself and hitting one of the two edges. Now this level was confusing because when I first played this game like 4 years ago, I never remember having an issue with this level, but doing the run now, this was one of my worst levels. So again, I'm calling this a 6 out of 10, but it is very highly subjective. So what I would do is squeeze through this crack on the right, then I would grab that antler, make sure you do not grab the skull part, and this swing here is what caused the vast majority of my deaths. It's actually very tricky. So yeah, swing through the hole here, and then if you grab the skull, you're not going to make it far enough. And then try to not get too close to that orb before the swing, or else you'll swing up and hit the top. Again, grab the antler. And then yeah, another tip with this swing, let go early, because the worst thing that can happen is that you hold for too long and hit the top, which happens a lot. It can happen either if you get too close to the orb or if you hold onto the orb for too long. So let go early and rely on your air control to get to the end. Also, I'm going to show what happens when you accidentally grab the skull part. Yeah, your swing completely messes up. If that happens, you have to immediately turn around and swing back and forth. But yeah, practice this last swing a bunch, because I mean, maybe it might be way easier for you than it was for me. Here's one last run of me showing what happens if you get too close to the orb for the swing. Julblock is pretty damn hard, just straight up. It really only takes one swing once you're inside of the head, but that one swing is just so exceptionally easy to mess up. So swing off of that initial orb, swing off of the antler and grab above the eye, and I like to face forward and pull back so that I lose my momentum. Now you just wait until you can enter the eye, and remember, you only have to swing one time. So you drop down, look up, swing once. When you're making the swing inside, make sure that you're staying to the right, because there's a little ridge on the top that gives you more room when you're to the right. Imagine if your grapple didn't pull you upward like this. This level would be impossible. For some reason you think you're not going to make it on the first swing, just tap again further on the spine. Again, it's really easy to mess up, but you're just doing tiny little swings. If you remember back on waste disposal, how I mentioned just kind of like spamming the ceiling to keep your height, it's kind of like the same thing. And this is what I was talking about with the right side having a lot of space, because you don't hit the spine. Now here I'm going to show a consequence of riding the middle instead of going to the right. As you can see, I'm going to hit the bone in the middle. Here's one last run of the level, and most of my deaths came from grappling too far away when I first enter. So make sure that when you enter the eye, you look upwards and you grapple close to where you are. Do not grapple too far away or you're going to hit the floor. So if you made it past Julblock, congratulations, I would consider this to be a really good run. Now Crevice is a pretty difficult level. It used to be the level with my lowest clear rate at about 2/3 of the time I was dying at this level. But I picked up this different way of doing this level where I take longer to make that final swing, and it dramatically increased the amount of times I cleared it. So I'm going to show both routes. So the first part of this level is self-explanatory. Just skip that orb, take that orb, skip that orb. Make sure you fall down quite a bit if you're going to do this route where you just swing directly in. That's the first route. So here's the safer route. You're going to fall down, and then you're going to swing up, turn around, and then you're going to pull back to lose your momentum, and then grab it and swing in. And this seems really complicated for a level where you could just try to swing in immediately, but trust me guys, it's super worth it. I highly recommend giving this strat a chance. Don't just like try it once and be like, oh, I died, so I might as well go back to doing the original strat of just going directly in. Like, this strat saved me so many runs. Brought this level from like a 7 or 8 out of 10 to, I mean, I still kind of die in this level sometimes, like I just did there. So it's still like a 5 out of 10, but this significantly improved the difficulty of this level. You see what this does is that it gives you so much air control on that way back. It just makes it so easy to get into that crevice. Really the only hard part is not hitting the ceiling and not hitting the floor. So here, don't go too high, just wait a minute before you swing, and then here, I mean, grab early and don't hit the floor. Just, you know, common sense, guys. Believe it or not, guys, you can actually die at this level. It happened to me one time and it was very sad. I like to swing to the goal after coming around this corner here. So I swing to the goal off of this orb, but you can actually swing to it earlier, as I'll show in a second. Here's me getting a bad swing and dying, so it is possible. And here I'll swing up on this first orb. I'll just go right up. So it is possible. It's a little bit riskier than the first one I showed. Swing, swing, and swing to the goal. This is the preferred route once again. This level is straight garbage. There are two main ways of doing this level after swinging over to the saw blades, and that's like the quick route where you basically just like grab onto one of the saw blades and like pray that you don't hit anything. And then there's the route that I'm going to show you where it literally takes like a minute long of just going one by one, and it's just so horrible. I think I died in this level a total of 10 times, even though I am technically doing the safe route. At this point in the run, you're going to be pretty nervous, and it's just extremely stressful doing a level like this for like a minute straight. As you could see, I'm basically hugging the brown bar and crossing whenever I'm going the direction of the saws, and I'm basically deciding if I think I can cross one or two, which really depends. Here I'm in practice mode right now, so I'm feeling a little risky and I'm crossing a lot of 2 sets. In the actual run, I was basically doing it one at a time. Just to recap, you launch off of this initial orb up into the air and grab the saw to launch yourself all the way across the map, and grab whichever orb that you think will not kill you. Do not like be like, oh, I gotta hit that orb every time, because sometimes you'll miss the orb and you'll die, and that will be really depressing. Then you can just swing onto the brown bar at your own leisure, and yeah, just take it slow. The biggest problem will probably be the rocks. Do not hit the rocks. You have a lot of space to the ground, so go as low as you want. And the actual bars that are holding the saws are like paper thin, so like you could literally like clip inside of them basically. I think you can die. I don't think I ever actually died from hitting a bar. I died from 1, hitting a rock, or 2, accidentally not grabbing the brown bar and grabbing one of the actual like gray bars that I said were paper thin. Actually, if you grab those, you're basically screwed. But yeah, this level is dumb, so just pray. This level should be free, right? Unless you're me and you died this level 6 times. The C in my username literally stands for choke. So yeah, I gave this a 4 out of 10 for my personal difficulties with this level, but to most people it probably is a 1 or a 2. All you have to do is drop backwards and then swing to the right, and then you have to grab this orb and make a big swing to the end, and that's it. I'm serious about a big swing, by the way. That last swing is not free. Also, you saw how I just died? Falling backwards and hitting that wall, if you go too far left, actually killed me twice. So yeah, make sure that you fall backwards at the start and don't just like go slightly left. And here I show how easy it is to die if you don't go back far enough. You're just way too short. So I'm just gonna show myself doing this first swing a few times, because this is really the key to clearing this level. So yeah, you can step way far back and still make it, and that's probably the best option. And then here I'm going to purposely not swing far enough. See, I didn't hold long enough, and yeah, that would just be tragic. So let's show one more clear run. So I actually almost hit that. So definitely back up a little bit more. But yeah, get a big swing and then you're good. It's time for your final skill check before sorry, unless you're me and die at elevator. I actually don't think that this level is that difficult. My clear rate of this level I think was around like 80%, which is really good. But I can take a step back and say that even though I was, you know, overall pretty lucky getting through this level, that objectively it's a pretty tough level. I follow a very strict route on this level. So I do the initial swing, and then I grab the top of this bar, go in between those two bars, and then I swing over this wall, and then I do these last two swings into the goal. I actually got very consistent at this. I'm able to do it almost every time. You really need to make sure that you are grabbing the tops of the bars. Do not grab the bottoms of the bars or you will die. Again, swing in between those two. Over the wall, you actually have a lot of leniency getting over that wall, a lot of air control skills. And yeah, you should clear it pretty consistently with this route. I know there are a lot of ways to do this level, so, you know, obviously if you feel more comfortable with another route you already learned, then, you know, do that. Here's a clip from my marathon clear where I accidentally grabbed the wrong bar to launch over the wall, but I still clutch up and clear the level. Jeez. This is another level where it should be very easy, but stress can make you do very dumb things. At this point, your mind is probably thinking about sorry, and you're not really thinking about the fact that you could possibly lose on this level. All you need to do is swing off of the elevator and then grab that orb off into the distance. It really doesn't matter how close you are to the orb when you grab it. Like in this first clip, obviously I grabbed it from really far away, and then you grab the pink elevator as it's going up, and since I'm super far away, you can go under that rock right there. So this time I'm going to try to grab the orb from a medium distance. So here I'm a little bit higher than I was last time. The only difference here is I'm going to be going above the rock this time. So I'm going to grab the bottom half of the elevator. Once I get around here, I start holding forward. And then right around here, I let go and go above the rock. And lastly, I'm going to try to go really high and grab the orb from up close. So here I'm a lot closer. I went up into the hole, and it's all the same concept. So I'm going to grab the bottom half of the elevator, start holding forward, and then let go and go above the rock. Alright, now try not to have a heart attack. We are at the very last and easily the hardest level of the run, Sorry. If you've played this game, you know this level. The name is very fitting. This needs to be the level that you practice the most because you need to be able to do it in one attempt. And don't stress if you die here quite a few times. I died here 10 times myself. When you sit back and reflect on the run, there really aren't that many super difficult parts, so you should be getting quite a few attempts at this level, especially as you become more consistent at the other levels. You should be getting here quite a bit. I say that, but I know a bunch of you probably think you're built different and you'll just fluke this in one attempt. I thought that too, to be honest. So Sorry, in my opinion, has two pretty difficult parts. The first hard part being this first section where you have to use the rocket and swing off of the orbs and then launch yourself through that crevice. And the second hard part being the part with the spinning buoys where you have to grab one of them and swing through the cave. For this section, make sure that you are always holding forward. Do not stop holding forward or you will lose your momentum. I cannot stress enough how important speed is on this part. If you launch yourself and you do not see the wind effect, then you should probably start saying your goodbyes. So here's a slow motion version of this part. So here I wait a while to grab this orb so it will launch me a bit higher, and then this orb will swing me downwards so that I have a lot of room on this third orb to get me a lot of height. A lot of the time it does not go according to that plan, so just make sure you're going fast and you should be good. Once you exit, grab the burger, then grab one of the meatballs that are heading up into the air to launch yourself over to this hot dog. Make sure that you get fairly close to this blue orb before swinging on it. We're busting out the slow motion again for this part because it is pivotal. Make sure you swing long off of this orb. That is very important. So important that I'm busting out the instant replay here. If you do not swing far enough or you can grab that third buoy without hitting the ground, then yeah, you're toast. Do not bother waiting to grab the orb as you come down. Just again, make sure that you swing long. I usually aim to grab this spot of the buoy. If you swung long enough and you grab that spot, then you should be good to go through the tunnel. Now your last task in the whole run is to let go at the right time so you make it far enough. Here I let go too early. Now here's a clip of me swinging a little bit longer. I try to swing as high enough to where I don't hit the top, but I can still reach this orb. And then don't even bother grabbing that second orb, just fly right through the crack. My thoughts and prayers go out to anybody who dies on this part. I'm so sorry. If you have enough momentum, technically you can make it to the second phase and just grab on that and then, you know, swing to the end. But I always just don't even risk it. I just stop my momentum and grab both faces, and yeah, you pretty much never die in this part. Just remember to hold away from the left face so that you don't smash into the wall. And now just swing off of the big piece in the middle to the end. Alright, so one more time. Do these swings. This time I swing a little bit to the left, but I keep up the speed so I'm good. Grab the burger, grab the meatball, and go over to the hot dog. Make sure you get close to this orb before grabbing it. Over, under, grab it immediately and swing long. Grab the middle part, go as high as possible without hitting the top. That was a close one. Don't even bother grabbing that orb, it's fine. Swing off of that phase, grab the big piece, and it's over. Actually, I'm going to show one more clip just for good measure. On this one, I literally get the height just because I was going so fast. I don't even really swing that low. Lastly, I'm going to show what I meant by skipping the first phase if you have enough momentum. It can sometimes be safer, but I generally don't recommend it. And that's the run, so congratulations, you're now a golden god. Now that you completed this, it's time for Crypt of the Necrodancer.